Now we have solved 20 questions out of 150. Long way to go still, but we're getting there. Next one. So this is a new problem that I've never seen before. It's medium level, so let's try for like 45 minutes. And if we can't solve it within an hour, we will give up and learn from other people's solutions. Okay, let's start. Reverse words in a string. Given the input string, reverse the order of the words. Okay? They'll be separated by at least one space, so it could be one or two. Return a string of the words in reverse order concatenated by a single space. Okay. So even if there were two spaces before, we want to return them just with one single space. Okay. Sorry for other messages. So note that the input may contain leading or trailing spaces or multiple spaces between two words. Yes. Right. Okay, so the sky is blue. Blue is sky. The hello world, word hello. No leading trailing spaces in the return. Okay, I remember that Python has this split function. So if we do s equals s split, that would remove the leading and trailing white spaces and then split the words. I'm not quite sure if I want to see what if we had two white spaces and then when we're splitting that, does that ignore the two white spaces because that's what we want. Let's print as we want to see what it is. Except that we are not having any, so this is all just one white space. We want to get the one with two, okay, the good example one. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3 white spaces, but we are actually getting exactly what we want here. So no leading or trailing white spaces, and then it also handles the more than one white space between the words beautifully, so no more work from our side. Exactly what we need. Python. Thanks. So that's the first step. Now we just need to reverse the order of the words. Okay, so here we have a list of strings. Could we want to reverse these words, but so what happens when we do reverse? Let's just have a look first. What happens if we do the normal reverse? I don't know if that actually works, so let's check. Okay, it seems to be doing exactly what I wanted to do. So we have a list here, and now it's just reversing each element in the list. So the list will be a good example, and now it's just reversed. Okay, that's exactly what we want. And now we just want to return this concatenated by a single space. So we want to return this. So we will join them with a single space. And then we also wanna, okay, let's just print that to see what that gives us first. Okay, let's see. Python join list of strings. Okay, so so this is what I'm seeing. It's saying that so the syntax. Okay, let's try that first and then let's look up the documentation. So this syntax is saying that we want to do this dot join. Let's see what that gives us. That seems to be giving us the correct result, but not in the string format. That's weird. Join. Oh, it's because I'm printing this. Okay. Oh, what happened there? Okay. So this should give us the result. Yes. Okay. Efficient as well. Let's run it again and see. Okay, pretty efficient, both time and space. All right, that's good. So we do have a one-liner here, so that would just be split. So what are we doing here? First, we split S, so that removes the leading and trailing spaces, and it also takes care of those more than one spaces in between the words. So that will just give us a list of all the words without the extra spaces. And then since this is a list, we can do a reverse on the list. So it will just return us the reversed list. Now we want to join all the words in this list with one white space. So that's one white space dot join, and that's the input. So there we have our Python solution. That got much slower. So I want to check out the join documentation for Python. Okay, it seems like so this is simply the way we do it in Python. We are specifying what we're joining them with, and then this is where the list or dictionaries go. So I'm looking at this. So here we have this list. We're just joining them with no character in between. This is the dictionary. Apparently when we join this, we're just joining the keys, and it's also gonna be unordered. So I will return a random order. Interesting. And this time we have the separator, and it's doing as we expect it to do. It's only gonna use this separator in between the elements. It will not add it to the front and the end unnecessarily. Okay, so there we have that. I guess if we do not have the split function in Python, in other languages we will have to think of other ways. Okay, let's think about that later since we do have some time now. Let's go over the time and space analysis first. So for time, the splitting will be linear time. Reversing will also be linear time. And this is also linear time. So it will be a linear time, complexity, and linear space. Because we need to use all. Oh, we are just building this and returning it. It's gonna be corresponding to the length of the input. So linear time and space. All right. Now let's think, what if we don't have this split function? Let's say, what if we do not have a specific function that helps us with the extra spaces in between? Usually we always have a function to remove the leading and trailing white spaces. That's usually very common, but we might not have a function that automatically handles the extra white spaces in between the words. So could we do this in a more like basic way? So this will be a good example. So a good example, it'll be even better if we add some spaces, yeah, around it, right? So what if we traverse this input string character by character, and then when we see a white space we ignore, when we see a character we continue until we see a white space again, because then we know we have found a word, and then we save that word into a list, and we do this so then we get all the words out, and then we need to reverse that list. So reverse a list, that's usually a built-in function as well, but if we need to do it manually, then we just traverse backwards and then get the last element into the new list to be the front, and so on. So manually traversing, get all the words out, and then manually traversing backwards and reversing the list, and then we want to join them. Let's say we don't even have a join function, then we need to just traverse this new reversed list again, and then we will put that extra white space in between those words. So that's also doable. Okay, I think that's enough for this. Okay, there is a follow-up. Great. If the string data type is mutable in your language, can you solve it in place with constant extra space? Okay. First, let's check, is Python string mutable or not? Because my impression is that I remember that it's not mutable. If it is mutable, so this is what I'm seeing. Strings and tuples are immutable. Lists, dictionary, sets are mutable. Okay. So immutable. There we have it. So we cannot do this follow-up. Is string mutable in C#? String objects are immutable for C# as well, as I remember. Okay, so I don't know which language has this mutable string data type. That'll be interesting to find out. Let's have a look at other people's solutions. There's always so much to learn from here. Okay, so here we are using 2 pointers to reverse a string. So what it's doing is it's swapping the first element with the last element, and then it goes towards the middle. Increment I, decrement j. So what it's doing is A0 and the last element. So that's what it's doing. It goes from beginning and end, and then goes towards the middle, and they swap it each time. So this is a temporary temp save, and we're swapping it. Okay, so this is gonna reverse this input. It will just reverse the whole input string. Now we want to reverse each word. Let's look at reverse words. J starts from 0. If we see a white space, we move on, and J. If it's not a white space, I see. Okay, so I is looking for the start of this word, so it's gonna skip white spaces until it reaches a character. So A is standing at the index of the first character of the word, and then J is gonna go through each character of the word until it finds a white space. So it's gonna stand just behind the first word. So this is the index of that word that we just found. And then we continue to find the next word. So each time we find a word, we will do reverse on this word. So first it reverses the whole string, then when we find the word, we reverse it again, so that's how we get back to the original word. Okay, so it's gonna do that. Step 3, clean up spaces, trim leading, trailing, and multiple spaces. Okay, so the whole point of all of this is that this is done in place, because we are reversing the input in space. By swapping, we are reversing the words in space by swapping. And then we have actually changed the original input after step 1 and 2, and now we still have this original input that's been edited, and now we need to go over it and clean up spaces. Okay, so we find the trailing spaces, we skip them, we keep none, we keep the characters. Then we skip spaces again. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay, so J is traversing through this changed input, and I is that pointer that's pointing just from 0, and that's what we use to set what each position should be. So J is traversing, I is the position setter. So, oh, what happened here? Okay. Okay, so I is at 0, so J is gonna traverse and skip all the spaces, the leading spaces. Now J is at somewhere with a letter, so that's when we put that letter back to the first spot, index 0. After that, we increment both I and J to look at the next one. If it's another letter, then we continue to put that back to the first part of the array until we run into another white space. And when we do that, we just increment, but we also want to make sure that that spot is filled with the white space, because we need white spaces between the words. So, wow. Okay, so this is for the case of more than one white spaces. So say if we had 3 white spaces after the first word, it would just be, okay, white space again and again and again. And once we have gone over all the white spaces between the words, so this is in between words, then we simply place the next character to be a white space, and then we increment I. So this means we will increment I after we assign white space. So this is afterwards. If this was to the left, that will be before. That will be incorrect because we need to increment I only afterwards. Okay, so this is all making sense. Very good. So this is using 2 pointers. No trim, no split, no string builders, and this is doing it in place, which is what the follow-up is asking for. So if the string is mutable, this will be done in place. So this is Java. Is string mutable in Java? Wait, why does it say that it's immutable? Oh, I see. Okay, so it's not actually doing anything on the original string input. It's actually first putting this into a character array. So it's using A everywhere. This is the character array. So it's not really changing the initial string because strings are also immutable in Java. Okay, now we have gone over that. That is true. Let's have a quick look at this as well. Pushback. I do not know what that is. What language is this? Is that C++ maybe? I do not know what it is. Linear time and space. Reverse the whole string. Reverse word by word. So that will be the same solution as the last one we looked at. Reverse words. And then this is doing all the... Okay. Reverse. So it is using a reverse function at least. Okay. I think I'm happy with this one now. I don't know if this counts as cheating a little bit now that I'm looking at other solutions without using split. Okay. So it's using join, it's using reverse, but it's just not using split. So the only thing that's different here would be it's handling the white spaces. If it's a character, we put that into temp. If temp is not empty, then we okay. So this will be put into temp. And then we have a space, temp. Is empty. Oh no, wait, okay. Sorry. So okay, let's look at this again. So let's look at this example. So first we are looking at all the characters in the string. So first two are spaces, so nothing happens because they are spaces, and temp is also empty, so it just goes to the next. So the first one, A, it's not a space, we put that into temp. Next one is a space, so it's not gonna go in there. Now temp is A, so that is not empty. That's when we append this to a list. That's the list. And now we reset temp again, and we go over these, put that into temp. Then we have space again, so we will put that word into the list. We skip all these, so yes, so now we have this list of the words in its original order, but with all the spaces handled. And then we reverse the list and join as I have done. Alright. Okay, I think that's enough for this problem. I will see you in the next one.